So the first time that I did a video on Baldo, I had to do the audio while under a blanket, basically in a closet, while a lot of my family was around, and it was very awkward and weird, and you could definitely tell that I was kind of whispering. I was asked to do an update on Baldo, and this request happened about a week ago, so I've been working on the game and playing it, getting a lot done. I had all day, pretty much, set aside to do the audio today. Lo and behold, my programs stopped working, my computer had problems, and before I know it, family's coming home, it's the holidays, everyone's around, and now a bunch of my family is sleeping, and it's 12 at night, and I am there again, having to almost whisper while I'm doing the audio for a Baldo video, so it's just fantastic. I do apologize for the any audio issues. Obviously, there's also going to be a heater going on because we're in December, and I can't just turn off the heat when everyone's sleeping, and yeah, so anyway, I did in fact play a lot of Baldo here recently. I've checked out the updates. I've looked to see what kind of improvements have been added, and I did want to come from a perspective of sort of a clean slate, if you will. I didn't want to completely look at it as a broken game. What did they do to fix that broken game? Instead, I kind of wanted to look at it from the perspective of somebody who is just purchasing it now, and somebody who's going to be entering this game fresh. So I kind of looked at it from both ways, if I'm being honest, because I still have memories of this game that honestly was one of my top 5 disappointments of 2021. This was a game that everything I had saw on it looked like it could be sort of a successor to that, 2D top-down Legend of Zelda, if you will. Is something that, is in that realm anyway. And I've been needing more Zelda-type games in my life, and I thought this one's perfect. The graphics look great, the audio's pretty good, the story's really good, and I saw a dev team just drop the ball. I mean, we're talking horrible. This port was... like many Nintendo Switch ports, this was bad. And, I still have that. But nevertheless, they did do quite a few updates. I think at least 2 or 3. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. But there's been different patches and updates and whatever that's gone on in the game. And so the big thing that I complained about, and probably the biggest obstacle in the game in general, was the controls. It was inconsistent, and that's part of the issue, because sometimes when you would attack, or when you would try to avoid being hit, there was like a delay, and sometimes it would be there, sometimes it wouldn't. So there's many times when I'm just trying to traverse a dungeon and run into an enemy, and I felt like the timing was right, but the button response didn't respond. So this happened quite a bit, and it led to me dying a lot. It led to me not wanting to take as many risks and really narrowing this game down. I'm happy to say that they did fix the controls. In fact, until I kind of went back and looked at the last video I did and kind of, brought myself up to speed with what the game used to be, I kind of forgot the controls were an issue. That's how well they fixed the controls in this new update. I had absolutely zero problem. The difficulty of the game that was kind of a hindrance before has dropped way down because of that. And that's something that, I can appreciate. I don't mind a difficult game. That's fine. But this was a technical difficulty issue, and so that's actually been fixed, which I think that's the biggest one. The other big complaint I had about this game, honestly, was the mapping system. It was little to none. You were just kind of set in this world, now go off and figure out what you're supposed to do, and that's fine, but without many landmarks, without really a true map to even tell you, and this is important, which way you're facing, which can be so difficult when you're trying to figure out where you're going or where you're heading, but all you see is a blinking dot on a map, and you don't know which way you're facing, and let's be honest, the map to scale is also pretty bad. You can't really make it out that well. Well, they did actually fix that to an extent. Now, they still haven't really gotten everything down with it, and it's one of those games that you still spend a lot of time kind of roaming around and looking what you're supposed to do and trying to figure it out. They don't hold your hand very much, and that was a complaint of mine, to be honest. But thinking back on it, it's kind of nitpicky, and it's a personal problem I have. I think a lot of people actually like a game that gives them a lot of challenge and makes them figure things out for themselves. And even looking back into like some of the old Legend of Zelda games, that was pretty much the way those games were designed too. So I don't really think I was being fair with Baldo when it came to that. For me now, I'm just a person who, I like things quicker. I like things fast. I like movies over shows, or I like shows over movies. I like things fast. My wife is not happy with me. No, I just say, like, you know, especially when it comes to like games and stuff like that, I'd rather be actually playing them instead of trying to figure out a puzzle or the answer to a question that I can only find, you know, in a different town where there's very little to go on as far as who to talk to and what I'm actually looking for or what my next step is. And that's my biggest issue with Baldo right now, is there's so many times where there's a main goal that you're supposed to be doing, but to actually go down that path or to open that, that option, if you will, you have to go through multiple steps, like tons and tons of layers to actually to actually figure out how to get to your destination. But at that point, you've kind of forgot why you're even going to your destination, like why you care. And that for me is kind of an issue. I had the same issue with Eastward. Like, there was so much dialogue that at some point I was like, okay, wait, what? Why do I care? What am I doing? And I just felt like that happened quite a bit in Baldo as well. Much where, like, maybe they were a little bit too ambitious with how they structured the game. That's, again, this is a personal thing. I think a lot of people probably enjoy that and appreciate that. Like the multi-layer quests that you're not even sure which way you're supposed to be going, and you know, they don't really hold your hand or tell you where to go. I think a ton of people are into that. As a game reviewer and as someone who has a giant backlog, I just at the moment I'm just not into that. I wish I was, and I wish I had the time to appreciate that aspect of a game. But between reviewing games, owning my own business, having 2 kids, I don't get a lot of time to game. So when I get that opportunity to game, I don't want to spend hours just searching for a clue to tell me where I'm supposed to go to next, if that makes sense. But outside of that, honestly, I think this is definitely a game that I would recommend purchasing now. I think it's at that point. Like I said, the controls, which were the biggest thing, they're fixed. The mapping is a little bit better. There is steps to take now that actually do help. I mean, I recommend using a walkthrough. I hate to admit it. There were times when I had to while making the video and while playing the game. I think this is definitely a good game now, and something that is worthy of your money at $25. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Baldo. Again, I apologize for the audio. I just wanted to get this video out, and I think I've got a couple other videos that are going to come out this week, and probably going to have this kind of whispered audio. Apologies, guys. Anyway, take care. Please like, subscribe, do all that. I appreciate each and every one of you, and especially all the other gaming channels who've been interacting with me lately. Really, really appreciate you guys. Anyway, take care, guys. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff.